Go to number 11. So on your chemistry final study guide, go to number 11, and here is the problem. We want to write and balance the chemical equation shown below. We have here aqueous sodium chloride reacts with aqueous silver bromide to produce aqueous sodium bromide and solid silver chloride. Alright, so that's a handful of words, but we'll break it down. So step 1, remember, write your chemical reaction or equation. I'm going to put a little side note here, and I'm going to write check charges. So remember, these are ionic compounds, and they're aqueous ionic compounds. Aqueous meaning they dissolve in water. So we always want to remember to check charges of these aqueous ionic compounds, or even the solid ionic compounds. And number 2, don't forget to balance the chemical equation. Alright, so it says here, aqueous sodium chloride reacts with aqueous silver bromide. Automatically you know those are your two reactants because of that keyword reacts. So we're going to write here aqueous sodium chloride. Sodium on your periodic table is Na. And chloride on the periodic table is Cl. But look, I told you to check charges. So remember, sodium has a +1 charge and chlorine has a -1 charge. To check their charges, we want to make sure +1 plus 1 plus -1 equals 0. So since +1 and -1 equals 0, that means that this ionic compound is written correctly. And if you want, you can write AQ here in the corner for aqueous. Plus. So reacts, the word reacts is just the same as a plus sign. So reacts with aqueous silver bromide. You're lucky because you're already given the formula. You don't need to check charges. So AgBr2 is silver bromide, and it's aqueous. And they react to produce. To produce is your keyword to write that arrow. To produce aqueous sodium bromide. So I'm going to write Na, and then the silver for bromine or bromide is Br. And we need to check charges. So sodium's charge, you get... So let's not forget to check charges when we write NaBr. Remember, sodium is +1, bromine is -1 charge. So we do +1 plus -1 equal to 0. +1 plus -1 equals 0. So we have a neutral charge here. We don't need to do anything to the compound. We can leave it as NaBr. And sodium bromide is aqueous as well. You had a few students come in here and they were looking for you. Okay.
So I'm leaving, so I'll be back.
Okay.
Probably about an hour.
Okay. The last thing we have to write down here is solid silver chloride. So that's your last product. So we already give you the formula. It's AgCl2. We don't need to check charges. And it's solid. So let's look at this. We have NaCl aqueous plus AgBr2 aqueous produces or yields, that's the arrow, NaBr aqueous plus AgCl2 solid. Looks pretty good. So we wrote our chemical equation. Now the last thing we need to do is balance the chemical equation. So let's look on both sides. For Na, I have 1 Na on both sides, looks good. For chlorine, I have 2 chlorines on my product side and it's AgCl2, but 1 over here on my reactant side with NaCl. So I'm just going to put a coefficient of 2 here. If I put 2 in front of NaCl, that changes my numbers of sodium, or the number of sodium that I have. So I fix my chlorines. Sodium changed. I have 2 now on this side. And look, now on my right side, I need 2 here. I'm going to put a coefficient of 2. That gives me 2 sodiums on both sides. So now it's looking pretty good. Let's check my silvers. I have 1 Ag, or 1 silver on my reactant side, 1 silver on my product side, and now bromine. 2 bromines on my reactant side, and since we placed the coefficient of 2 in front of NaBr, I now have 2 times Br. I have 2 bromines on my product side. So that checks. And now I have my balanced equation. This is your final answer. 2 NaCl aqueous plus AgBr2 yields 2 NaBr aqueous plus AgCl2 solid. Now what kind of reaction is this? Do you remember? I will tell you. This is a precipitation reaction. In precipitation reaction, a precipitate forms or solid. So the solid is also called a precipitate.